BBC Newsnight, right before the 2024 election, actually aired an extremely deceptive, clipped and edited version of what Trump said at the Ellipse prior to January 6th. They omitted the part where he said, I want you to be safe. I don't do anything violent. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing. But Connor, can we show the juxtaposition between what they did and what he actually said?
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Vital piece missing.
Exactly. Yeah. That's very underhanded and dishonest. And the fact that they thought they could get away with that is just extremely troubling. And so President Trump has rightfully been very upset about this. He is threatening to sue the BBC for $5 billion.
But there's a large swath of people that they will not see both clips. They will only see that, and they make all their decisions based off of that. I think that's how we have gotten this far.
Well, the damage is already, in terms of when you sue somebody, you have to prove damages, and the damages were already done, but it's hard to prove because he won.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's what the BBC was saying. They were like, well, this didn't turn out to be a problem for you. You did win. They also said that it wasn't shown in America. So
who cares? Shown in America. BBC is available in the United States.
Right, but they said that because of the geolocation. No, they said geolocation, and they said it wasn't available in America. I don't know because I don't even have cable, so I don't even watch BBC unless it's in clips, really. But or Doctor Who, but whatever. So I think so that's part of it. But also, I think that it's important to, in terms of damages, the British people kind of hate Trump, for the most part. And this isn't helping with that. Why does it make sense for a foreign state-funded media service issue propaganda to their citizens to hate the leader of another country? That's weird.
Can I just say something? Around COVID, I would say the COVID era is the era of my personal career that I'm the most ashamed of, because I was in a political bubble and I was very trusting of various legacy media and corporate media outlets, long-standing institutions like the New York Times, Washington Post, and I thought they were giving me the whole story, but they weren't. They were omitting important information. And just recently, I got a ton of backlash from some people on the left, certainly people who are defenders and supporters of Israel, because I had admitted that I'm now watching or listening to Candace Owens' podcast regularly. Now, am I doing that because I agree with everything she says? No, but I'm doing it because she is now a topic of discussion. And I don't want to trust anyone else in telling me what she said. I want to know what she's saying.
Always go to the primary sources.
Exactly.
Always go to the primary sources.
Watching something in its entirety is not an endorsement of that if you're in the news and you actually want to have the full picture of what's going on, right?
That's so good.
And so with what the BBC did here, it's particularly triggering to me because for the people who trust the BBC to tell them the truth, they intentionally misled the public about Trump's actual statements that day. I think Trump personally is a target-rich environment, even if you're telling the truth and you're not misrepresenting what he said.
Well, and that's also, that's a super important point, because they misrepresent him so much that it makes it hard to hear what the original thing is anyway.
It's so true.
So, and then you have all of these people who say, well, he could have said that. That's got the truthiness to it.
I want to share a graph of the breakdown for the BBC, the Media Action Group. Did you know that the USAID was funding them?
Isn't that crazy?
That is shocking to me. Why? I love the Brits, by the way. I'm from England. Love you guys. But come on. No, I don't want my money, my taxpayer dollars going overseas to fund the BBC.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they were funding so much foreign media. They were funding fringe LGBTQ magazines and media in Hungary because they didn't like Viktor Orban.
That's crazy to me. And I want to quickly touch on an angle that I don't think anyone has mentioned yet. It's a fact that President Trump is really good friends with Nigel Farage. He's a conservative leader in the United Kingdom, and they have an alliance. And a lot of his a lot of his like blustering right now has a lot to do with him trying to rev up the conservative movement in the United Kingdom. And I think that's been overlooked.
It's reform, right? Isn't it reform?
He's
Isn't Nigel Farage with like reform?
The party, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
But he's a
conservative.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yes.
He's like MAGA UK.
Exactly.
Sure.
So do you think that the BBC, due to Trump's alliance with Farage, just has this extra layer in wanting to misrepresent him to the British people? Or to people in the UK?
Actually, I think another alliance that we should look closely at is his with King Charles. That's weird for me to say because he's been prince for so long. He and President Trump really hit it off in the past year, and I think a lot of his threats won't come to fruition. If I had to bet on this, I would say that he doesn't end up suing because King Charles might intervene. Maybe establish a sense of rapport. We'll see what happens. But he had a lot of success with suing CBS and ABC. I think he got $18 million from both. They basically capitulated, even though they had a better argument in court.
And to be honest with you, yeah, like the CBS 60 Minutes thing, I think that's probably the area where we might have some disagreement because I think Kamala Harris sounded idiotic in both the edited version and the non-edited version.
Both answers were bad.
Really bad, yeah. But in the case of the BBC, like it's an injustice because of how they misrepresented what he said, yes. But also keep in mind that people living in the UK have no choice but to fund the BBC. So you are literally paying an institution to misrepresent the news to you, and that's unacceptable.
You know, it's really unfortunate because I had so much respect for the BBC. I actually went on last week, and they didn't let me talk because I was presenting a pro-conservative view. But I also just want to point our viewers to the fact that they have had a history of doing shady things like this. I don't know if you guys remember back in the day with Princess Diana, an interviewer lied to her to get that interview.
Really?
The Panorama 1996 interview, they pretended to be a confidant of hers and basically lured her in, got her to agree to the interview under false pretenses, told her that people around her were scheming against her, thus fueling into her sense of paranoia. So they have had a history of resorting to these really malicious and lugubrious devices in order to get viewers or something.
Good use of lugubrious. Say that again?
Lugubrious.
Lugubrious. I like that.
Thank you.
I've read that word, but I've never heard it pronounced. That was great.
Yes, sinister and gloomy.
I love it.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindy Lee. If you like this clip, please go to YouTube, look for her take, and subscribe. You won't regret it.